When your parents can no longer care for themselves safely, it's time to start thinking about some alternative living options. Broaching the subject of moving a parent into a senior residence kind of facility is not easy and it's not pleasant to do. But if it's the only viable option, it's up to the children, to help parents understand why it's necessary. WECT's Bob Townsend now with this month's Your Family Matters.
Lois Yeager's recovering from a broken hip after a recent fall, but instead of going to a rehab center, she's recovering at the home of her daughter at Carolina Beach. In a recent poll, most seniors said they would prefer to remain in their own home or in the home of relatives as long as it's possible. Mrs. Yeager is making good progress in her rehab thanks to physical therapist Scott Donovan.
We have a large aging population, especially down here in Wilmington, large retirement population. A lot of people who are moving here and leaving families somewhere else. This is resulting in not having someone to lean on, to turn to, so they're on their own. Strength is something that declines as we get older. It's a natural part, but we don't realize how much we've lost until we suffer some kind of an injury or an illness, even the flu.
According to a study called Aging in Place in America, most senior citizens fear they would lose their independence if they left their own home. But if a person can no longer stay by themselves, then it may be time to suggest a move to an assisted living facility. And for a child who feels that mom and dad can no longer take care of themselves, it can be the toughest conversation they've ever had with their parent.
It's just being aware of your loved one. Make sure you know what do they normally do at home. You know, if they're not eating properly, if they don't have the appropriate foods in their refrigerator or in their cabinets, then I mean, these are just all good things. I mean, all these are things that will go in effect of how they're performing at home and maybe needing help.
Health experts say you should make that conversation about the need for the change in the parent's place of living as a last resort after all other resources have been considered. And they say to help make that conversation a little bit easier when the time comes, you should start the talking with your parents now, long before it becomes a necessity. Because a discussion about the move now will take the sting out of the words nursing home when the time does become apparent down the road. For Your Family Matters, I'm Bob Townsend.